So hello viewers, welcome to my channel Ronnie Nerd Sciences, and here today I'm with my new video. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. In this video we're gonna look at pericarditis. This is an overview and introduction. Pericarditis is an inflammation of the pericardium. Pericarditis can be either fibrous dry or effusive with purulent serous or hemorrhagic exudates. The triad signs for pericarditis include chest pain, pericardial friction rub, and serial ECG changes. Pericarditis accounts for up to 5% of presentations to the emergency department for chest pain only. The pericardium is a membrane that surrounds the heart. Here is the heart muscle. The cardiomyocyte. The layers of the pericardium includes the visceral and the parietal and outer fibrous layer. Between the visceral and parietal layer is the pericardial space or cavity. In pericarditis, there is an inflammation of the pericardium which results in narrowing of pericardial space and possibly some scarring if pericarditis persists and not treated. Pericarditis can lead to pericardial effusion as well, which is a complication. Pericardial effusion is when the pericardial space is filled with extra fluid. This extra fluid exerts pressure on the heart muscles, resulting in cardiac dysfunction as well. Extra fluid exerts pressure on the muscles. The signs and symptoms of pericarditis include fever, myalgia, chest pain, and tripoding position, which relieves the pain, and signs of right side heart failure, including arises JVP and peripheral edema. Some risk factors are gender male, age between 20 to 50, systemic autoimmune diseases, having viral and bacterial infections, past and recent cardiac surgeries, having had a transmural myocardial infarction, and having uremia or being on dialysis. Investigations for suspected pericarditis includes the ECG, which may show global ST elevation and PR segment depression, serum troponin, ESR, C-reactive protein, full blood count, and serum urea. An echocardiogram is important in ruling out differentials and checking for peripheral effusion and pericardial damage. Performing an X-ray may show a bottle water shape and large cardiac silhouette, which is a sign of pericardial effusion. Moving onwards, the management of pericarditis is to perform pericardiocentesis. If there is a presence of cardiac tamponade or symptomatic pericardial effusion. In pericarditis, inflammation occurs because arachidonic acid is formed through phospholipids on the cell membrane. Arachidonic acid produces prostaglandins and thromboxane A2 with the enzymes COX. These molecules contribute to fever, pain, and inflammation as well in pericarditis. Therefore, the management of pericarditis is NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, are very useful because they inhibit COX and so stop the inflammatory process. However, a side effect of NSAIDs is peptic ulcers. And so proton pump inhibitors also need to administer to prevent the peptic ulcers. Recurrent pericarditis patients can go on NSAIDs plus PPI along with midazolam plus corticosteroids for some serious cases. Complications of pericarditis include pericardial effusion, which is mentioned earlier. Pericardial effusion can become cardiac tamponade once the fluid builds up and becomes so bad that impairs heart contractility. Another complication can be chronic constrictive pericarditis.